The community is outraged after an attack on a mother and her 2 young children. You can see in this video here where it happened in the South Deering neighborhood. And we are blurring the video because the people involved are all minors. Our Carshawnda Gray is live outside of the school where this happened. Carshawnda, we're learning this is not the first time that this specific group of kids attacked someone.
Exactly, Marie. The large group of parents were outside of the school calling for accountability. They say bullying has been a problem at the school, but now it's crossed the line into violence. The mother, who is also the victim, has been at the school all day talking to authorities. Police say the 33-year-old mother and her 9-year-old son were walking near 106 and Bensley in the South Deering neighborhood when the group of kids started chasing after the mother and her children, calling them names and taunting them. Both the mother and son were taken to a hospital. Word of the attack spread quickly on social media, causing outrage among many parents.
So, are we actually shocked? Because I'm not. What up, everybody? I am the Mademoiselle, and this is my channel. And as you guys can see by the intro and the title, we're going to be talking about the viral video that has been circulating of the mom that was jumped by a bunch of her kids' bullies. Now, to be quite honest with you, when I first saw this, it pissed me off. It hurt me. I had so many things that I wanted to say. Listen, I wanted to take a flight to Chicago and literally just rip them kids off her, because what in the world is going on? But at the same time, I gotta say that I was not shocked, okay? If you guys have been here before or you haven't been here before, I grew up in the hood. Stuff like this used to actually happen all the time, especially with the whole diaspora wars that I grew up with. Literally, I know a lot of people whose parents got jumped by Haitians or got jumped by Americans. So to be quite honest with you, this is not something that I was looking at and I was shocked by. It was more of an emotional response of, oh my God, this woman is trying to protect her children, and these children are pouncing on all of them. And then someone had the nerve, gall, audacity to record it and then post it. It's just absolutely disturbing and disgusting. And since we've been talking about a lot of these children's behavior on this channel lately, I just decided that we needed to have a candid discussion about this, because none of this is new, okay? All of this type of behavior has been happening for a long time. It's just been getting worse simply because a lot of people do not parent their kids, okay? Point blank, period. A lot of people in my recent videos have been like, oh no, it has to do with gentle parenting and soft parenting, or, oh, well, the teachers are bad too. We're talking about the kids in this instance. Yes, there's some teachers that are bad, but for the most part, a lot of these kids, especially in a lot of these schools, act like these kids that we saw in this video. Unfortunately, what happens is you drop your kids off, you pick them up, you don't know anything that's happening in between. A lot of these teachers are reporting about your children's behavior. A lot of these teachers are talking about how your kids need extra help, your kids need extra supervision, your kids need to be held accountable for their actions, but administration is throwing out the write-ups. I've written kids up and that write-up has gone absolutely nowhere. I've called the parents and the parents either don't pick up or they don't care. Soft and gentle parenting has absolutely nothing to do with this type of behavior because you're still parenting. These kids don't have parents. There's a difference between no parenting, soft parenting, gentle parenting, whatever. There's a huge difference. And a lot of people, y'all need to understand that. Regardless of how teachers might treat kids or how parents might treat kids or whatever the case may be, I think we all agree that it takes a village to raise kids. However, what do you do when the kids are being raised in a village that honestly doesn't act like a village?
I couldn't sleep. I was traumatized. I could not sleep. I couldn't believe it.
Shanice Davis lives in the neighborhood and says she recognizes the attackers.
This is not the first time the kids have done this. Just talk around the streets that these kids have pretty much been raising themselves and they have not been held accountable. They have vandalized cars. They have harassed adults and children.
One day after the attack, demonstrators showed up at Orville Bright Elementary School after some posted on social media threatening to harm the children behind the attack. Several police officers showed up blocking the entrance of the school to protect kids inside. Chicago Police District Council member Joseph Williams was also talking with them.
We're going to make sure that this school leadership steps up and that they put a safety plan in place, that they put any plan they need to put in place to make sure that these babies feel secure. Bullying should have a zero tolerance behind it.
We reached out to Chicago Public Schools about this incident and allegations from parents that their children were bullied by the same group of kids. CPS says they're horrified by the attack and they're working closely with the mayor's office, CPD, CHA, and other city departments to provide additional support for the family.
This story takes place in Chicago. The nickname for Chicago is Chirac. It's named Chirac for a reason. Like, honestly, I don't understand why people keep acting shocked by this type of behavior. I don't know if it's because I grew up in it. I went to a high school where stuff like this would always happen. Literally, I had classmates that were smoking, drinking, tatted loose, pregnant. So it's like, yeah, like it didn't really shock me. I will say what was shocking to me was that it looked like the woman was pregnant, but she actually wasn't pregnant at all. And it's just like, just the thought and looking at her being pregnant or like, like she's vulnerable, right? Like at the end of the day, whether she's pregnant or not doesn't matter. You put your hands on an adult. It's one thing to be jumping a kid. That's a problem. It's another thing to be fighting, but it's another thing to literally jump on a woman that looks pregnant or looks like she can be vulnerable. And y'all literally sat there and y'all attacked her. Like, that's the part about it that I'm just like a little confused by, because it's like, wait, like I've seen people attack people's parents. Trust me, back in the day, living in a war zone. But this right here, a lot of people were under the impression that she was pregnant. But in actuality, she actually is having a sickle cell flare up. Now, if you know anyone with sickle cell, you know that it's actually a very terrible sickness to live with. It's brutal. I know a lot of people with sickle cell, and it hurts to see them when they go through a flare up or when they have to go to the hospital and they really can't like move. They can't really do much of anything. So it's like the fact that she was going through that and she had to protect her children and she's being attacked the way she was, absolutely deplorable, absolutely disgusting, just disturbing on all levels. Now, obviously, because this is YouTube, I cannot show you guys the entirety of the video. Just type in Chicago mom gets jumped by kids bullies or something like that. You would be able to find it. I only have been able to put in news clips and certain blurred situations of this. But very interestingly, the mom actually did speak out. This clip is going to be super long. I'm going to try to cut it down and speed it up as much as I can. But let's hear what she has to say.
Yeah, I'm not pregnant. It just looked like that on that video. I'm not pregnant. But I do have 2 kids. No, girl, she's not pregnant. Why? Not you just talking. I don't have a baby. I don't have a baby inside of me. These are my only 2 kids right here. But you don't have a baby. Spank one of who, Lillian? The kids at the school? No, y'all alone. So listen, I'm going to tell y'all just like I told the school, I tell the school every year. I literally transferred my son out that school last year and decided to, put him back in the school. And I don't know why I did that, but yeah, I basically transferred him back to the school because they wasn't trying to hear me out. They wasn't trying to hear me out in the beginning. They wasn't trying to hear me out when I was trying to get teachers and parent conferences. They wasn't trying to hear me out. They wasn't trying to hear me out and none of that. Damon, you ain't miss nothing. I just don't put shit on Facebook, like real shit that I go through every day in life. I don't post that on Facebook because people like to use that against you. So I try to keep shit to myself. I don't even got nobody to vent to. I don't got friends. I don't trust nobody. Nothing. I've been complaining to the same motherfucking school for 2-3 years now. And first it was just like, okay, nitpicking, calling each other out of their name and shit. But now we got worse to the fact that the little boy, when they go outside, he up in guns. He's showing guns in his backpack. Like, that's how worse it got. And the little boy is only, my son 9. The little boy should be only about 11, 12. You gotta be about 11 or 12. And his brother named Demetrius, he gotta be about in 5th grade. I don't know what it is, what they want to do with my son or whatever. But my son is very friendly. Like he not the type that likes to fight. He's not a fighter. He's not a fighter. Yeah, he okay. He right here. They just smacked him very hard, and I couldn't get it. I couldn't move my son at the moment because I had my daughter standing in front of me. If I move my daughter or move any kind of way, I don't know what these kids trying to do. So I asked my kids to come to the next side of the street with me, so they wouldn't hit them. So we kept walking. They followed us up here. And I have video footage of that. Yes, we do. Everybody. Just
absolutely.
And you deserve it.
Juvenile.
How do you feel about it?
Yeah.
They need to be. Mamas need to go to jail too.
They were literally waiting. The way we walked home, just jump all of us.
So now we waiting.
To be quite honest with you, this is heartbreaking and it genuinely pisses me off because this should not have happened. At the end of the day, I don't believe that kids should be fighting and all of that nonsense. However, I feel like there's a way to do it if you have conflict with people, right? Back in the day, we used to have one-on-one fist fights. Like, yeah, maybe somebody will pull out something, but it wasn't even that serious. Like, we weren't putting out blickies for every little, altercation. Like, she literally said that one of these kids had a blicky, okay, had a pew-pew in their book bag. Like, they flashed it. And these are middle schoolers. That's where I kind of got a little confused. It's like, yeah, like, I went to Catholic school from pre-K to 8, but I used to always hang out with the public school kids because I got out early, so I'd always meet them. And we was always up to no good. There was a lot of things we shouldn't have been doing that we did, fighting, all that. But carrying blickies was not in that description. Like, all of that stuff came in high school, which also not okay. But it's kind of hard to think that 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th graders are out here carrying blickies. But at the same time, like, they're out here vaping. They out here doing everything else. So what are we actually shocked about? Like, this is what happens when kids don't have proper supervision. It doesn't matter if you're raising your kids the right way or you live in an amazing neighborhood. At the end of the day, peer pressure is real. And every single one of these kids has unrestricted access to the internet. I've been talking about this for years. Why do we have kids with Androids and iPhones with unrestricted internet access? Your kid needs a phone, get them a chirp. Your kid needs a phone, get them a walkie-talkie. I don't know, get them something else. But the fact that they could just go on Safari or go on Google browser and look up anything and have access to it is an issue. You don't think they're watching baddies clips, Love and Hip Hop fights, and everything else under the sun? Like, you don't think this is an influence on your kids? When you're sitting here watching ratchet television and you're letting the kids watch it with you don't think that has an influence on your kids? When you're letting them hang out with Tom, Dick, Harry, Cannon, Raekwon, Alexis, and Brittany, who have parents that are absent, you don't think that that's having an effect on your kids? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I teach kids and I work with kids. I have a different type of perspective on this, where it's just like, you have to actually watch what your kids are doing like a hawk. You have parents complaining about ChatGPT being used as a therapy and, kids are actually taking their own lives because of it. You have parents out here that are genuinely upset that their kids are being exposed to different challenges that are honestly genuinely harming their kids. But it's like, if your kid didn't have unrestricted access to the internet, if your kid was not being continuously exposed to harmful behavior, more than likely they'd be doing better. That's just, it all falls down to parenting at the end of the day. I don't care how you spin, slice, or whatever. It all starts at home. Yes, everything else is a contributing factor, but everything is always going to start at the beginning of where it all began, which is the home. If the kid has no home training, they're not going to be able to be trained anywhere else. Now, the crazy thing about this whole entire situation is that apparently they've been very outraged by what's happened, and I'm curious to see how this all plans out, right? Like, are these kids going to be held accountable? Are they going to juvie? Are the parents going to be arrested? Because that's what needs to happen at the end of the day.
Listen to those children. What I just heard are 2 little, beautiful black children that are traumatized. Yes! They've been bullied. Exactly. They've been tortured. What about my son? Exactly. Without giving them full detail, what I just told the principal and CPS, that we're not about to let a bunch of rules get in the way of protecting our children. Hell no! Should ever have to go through what that woman went through.
That's right.
Couldn't protect our children. Yeah. As somebody who writes laws in this state, we have written every law on the book to make sure children don't get abused.
That's right.
We also know about to let our children abuse us.
That's right. There we go. We got
Chicago, y'all done went too far, but baby, I would have went further. When y'all mamas woke up this morning, they would have had to plaster GoFundMes all on their social media pages because I would have laid y'all little asses out. And if y'all don't know what I'm talking about the woman that was attacked with her 2 children in Chicago by elementary and middle school children. If y'all have not seen the video, you might not want to watch it. It was disgusting. It was diabolical. It was gut-wrenching. It was heartbreaking. It was freaking terrifying to even watch something like that occur. And all I'm going to say to the parents, if y'all don't tame them little animals that y'all got, y'all going to see their little asses on the first 48. Because if they doing that now, imagine what they're going to do later. Now, what I will say is the community showed up and showed out this morning. They came to that school and they stood on business and they was not playing about that lady. They showed her love. They showed her support. They loved on her and her children, which is exactly what that woman needed at a time like this.
I don't give a fuck that they didn't mean it that way or they didn't think it was that serious. You're old enough to know right from wrong, but you do not understand the consequences of your actions. That's why every single time I talk about kids and stuff like that and a lot of their actions, a lot of people be like, oh, well, you're always on the kid's side. Of course, I'm always going to be on the kid's side because they're kids. As an adult, you are the one that's supposed to be the mature one in the situation, not the kid. The kid knows right from wrong, but again, they do not understand the consequences of their actions. So apparently one of the bullies came out and was sitting there talking about how like she didn't mean it and she's sorry. And then you got the mom talk about how she's an A student and she's, you know, captain of the cheerleading team and she was homecoming queen, which I'm trying to understand. Homecoming of what? 8th, 9th grade? How's she? Whatever. But I'm going to insert the clip here. Again, going to clip out and fast forward some things. You guys can feel free to go source the clip yourselves if you want to watch the entire video.
Okay. Okay, so this is an update, y'all. I want y'all to meet Kamira. She is one of the children that was a part of the fight at OT Bright School on yesterday. We're just coming live so she can say her piece and take accountability. I won't say too much. And please, anyone that decides to say anything, keep it respectful. This is the child.
Okay. My name is Kamira Grant and I was wrong for everything.
It's okay,
For everything that I did. And I was just being a follower. Following everybody who don't even got nothing that I got. And I apologize for everything because I wouldn't want to be in that situation. And I feel bad because
it's okay.
I gotta go through so much. But I wish I would never did what I did.
Do you have anything to say? I think her name is Shauna.
I was a bit. People think.
Knowing kids like this, all I gotta say is she's full of shit, and so is the people around her that are encouraging her to make this video. I don't want to hear anything about anyone talking about, oh, why didn't I blur the kids' faces? You can go to hell. As much as I believe, right, that kids do not understand the consequences of their actions when they willingly put themselves on the internet, yeah, I'm not going to blur your face. Now, on the internet against your will, it's a little bit different, right? Like when, you know, parents are embarrassing their children, like, yeah, typically I tend to blur those. But in this case, it's like, no, you sat there and you did what you did, okay? You were the one to throw the first punch. Okay, yes, this girl was the one to throw the first punch. And then you willingly are on the internet talking about how you're sorry, et cetera, et cetera. So I am not going to be blurring her face or any subsequent faces of any of these children because at the end of the day, they need to learn a lesson. I don't think they need to, you know, get beat up or shot or whatever. But let's be real, this is Chirac. That's what actually would have happened. And honestly, I'm not going to hold you. This story is not over and I wouldn't be shocked if this ends up turning left. What people need to understand is being a kid does not absolve you from street justice. It doesn't. Not liking what I'm saying right now. A lot of y'all are probably like, well, but it's still a kid. At the end of the day, street justice doesn't care who you are. This is why you got to be careful about where you live, the relationships you cultivate, and most importantly, how you treat people in those neighborhoods. Because at the end of the day, if you're out here doing things that you shouldn't be doing, you're harming people, and you're out here and you have like barely any remorse for it, more than likely someone is going to come after you and have something to say about it. When you really think about it, right, these children sat here and they pounced on a mama and her kids. They pounced on a mama trying to protect her kids from their blows, okay, trying to protect her kids from being attacked. And she's battling sickle cell, okay? She's having a sickle cell flare-up. And y'all didn't think anything of it. Honestly, she looks pregnant. So realistically, you guys jumped a pregnant woman because more than likely y'all knew that. Y'all saw her stomach. Y'all saw that she was inflamed in a way. And y'all did not care. Y'all carried on. Y'all smashed the kid's face to the concrete. There was a 6-year-old that she had there too. They was pulling on her hair. Like y'all were literally out here attacking these kids. Going to be scarred for the rest of her life because she could not protect her babies from y'all. Okay, even though she got most of the hits, even though the kids, yes, they got touched, but they weren't ragged on. I feel like honestly, the mom took most of the hits, and that's what she should do. And unfortunately, as an adult, I feel like she handled it the right way. Let's be real though, all of us watching this, we probably would have put hands on all those kids. Would have been yeet, yeet. Like I, to be honest, I don't play with kids. Like there were situations where I was with my godson. I'm taking him to the playground, and kids want to try to pick on him, and I'm on the playground like, what's up? Who said what? Like I don't play that. I don't play with stuff like that. But at the same time, you have to think about it, right? You sit there, you go put hands on a kid, things go extra left. Like I said, there's street justice, but also there's real justice, right? You cannot be putting your hands on minors. Additionally, as an adult, right, the way you have to think is if you get locked up, who's going to protect your kids? Not you, because you locked up. There's nothing you can do once you're behind those bars, right? So yes, there's logic and there's thinking behind it. As much as a lot of us are upset by this and we are mortified and we're just like, listen, if I would have saw these kids, they would have been, yeet, okay? Let's be real. A lot of us probably wouldn't have done anything. We probably just would have sat there and took them hits from these kids because we're not trying to get locked up. Like, that's it. Like, at the end of the day, you do not want to get locked up, especially in a place like Chirac. And just judging by these kids, judging by their parents, right? Because some of the parents have also came out, made statements, said this, that, and the third. Do you really think they would have let it slide if she would have put her hands on their kids, regardless of the fact that the kids were wrong and they were jumping on her and it would have been self-defense? Like, let's be real. And Chicago is a ruthless place, right? They call it Chirac for crying out loud. Parents are ruthless. The justice system is very corrupt. There's a lot going on in that city. And what a lot of y'all need to understand is a lot of people genuinely do not care, okay? The millennials, the zillennials, the Gen Z over there, they're very much so more ruthless than the generations before them. Like, they don't care who you are. Anybody can get it. Okay, so it's like, you really think they would have let her get away with defending herself? Like, do you? I don't. Especially when the kid was out. There was a kid out there flashing the blicky in her backpack. It's like, where do you guys think she's getting this from, right? Again, it starts at home. You guys should be checking the kids' phones. I don't care about fucking privacy. There's crazy people out there. Why are we giving kids unrestricted access to the internet when there's weirdos out there? Why are we more worried about protecting a child's privacy when there's people out there that are giving vapes, weed, alcohol, and everything else under the sun to children? Why are we not checking their backpacks when they leave and when they come? Like, I'm not understanding. Like, you ever had, like, perfect example, right? Y'all ever went to school with the girls that used to literally come to school with, like, booty shorts and a tank top and no one would say anything to them, and you would just sit there and be like, wait, how did you come to school like that? And some way, somehow, before or after school, you'd see them walking around with a different outfit. Yeah, a lot of times these kids are bringing different changes of clothes. But if you check the backpack, you would know that, right? It's just like, it's certain things where you just got to sit there and think to yourself, like, who is actually supervising these kids? They're not checking the phones. Why they're not checking the backpacks? Like, a lot of things could be mitigated if you just check the phones, check the backpacks, actually went up to the school, cared, went to the board meetings, went to the teacher conferences. Let's be real, right? Even if teachers are out here writing these kids up and admin's doing nothing about it, there's nothing that stops you from actually going to the parent-teacher conferences and hearing it from the teacher's mouth themselves about how bad your kid is. Okay? If you're actually calling, emailing, interacting with your kids' teachers, you would know how much of a menace to society a lot of your kids are. But for whatever reason, oh, I don't got time. Oh, I'll be working. Okay, nobody told you to have kids. Point blank, period. This is why I don't believe in people having kids when they're kids. Anything under 25, having a kid is crazy. Honestly, even 25, 26, especially because, like, in this economy and the fact that a lot of people ain't got shit, like, what are we having kids for? Like, I'm just trying to understand, like, we're having kids to provide them with what? To sit there and work 12, 15, 18, 20-hour shifts every day? in order to put food on the table and then not have a relationship with your children, not be active in their lives, not be around to actually see them grow up. Like, I just don't understand. I don't understand the point of putting yourself in unnecessary struggle and unnecessary misery just because, like, oh, I want to have my kids young, or no, I'm sorry. Like, this is what happens when you have people having kids when they're not ready and they're too young, and no, you're never going to be ready to have a kid. That's what you're going to say to tell yourself, to make yourself feel better, to let everybody else know that it's okay to do that shit when it's not. This is what happens when people are having kids when they shouldn't be having kids. And this is what happens when admin doesn't care to actually instill punishment in these schools and with these kids, because I guarantee you these kids was acting like that from day one. Okay, none of these kids are scholars 24/8. Like, the fact that that little girl tells me, oh, I'm a cheerleader, and no, I don't give a fuck. I'm sure she's still acting up some way, somehow. This is not just a one-day thing. This is not just a one-off thing. Kids that do stuff like that, kids that have that much nerve, gall, and audacity, okay, done it before. Okay, it's a pattern. Okay, they did not peer pressure her to go beat up that kid.
Honestly, it's like I say in all my videos, right? Kids are kids, but kids are not stupid. We try to act like, oh, well, they don't know what they're doing. Oh, they're young. They know what they're doing. They just don't understand the consequences of it. There's a difference, right? This girl, as well as the rest of these kids, I don't know if maybe she might have just joined in this little gang or whatever, because judging from what the people are saying in the news clips, as well as like the social media clips, these kids been doing this. Okay, like this is an occurrence that's been going on, and now people are really sick and tired of it. So yeah, I don't want to hear nothing about what her or any of these people talking about.
Yes, they said that the mama been kicked out, the mama been squatting in the buildings. Not the mama that got jumped on, but the parents of the little boy. They say the boys and the other girl. They say the mama 30 years old with 5 kids, and this been happening. They like the summer been peaceful. The whole summer was peaceful until they brought their ass back over here. And the mamas and grandma been squatting. They said they burnt the grandma house on fire. The grandma used to stay in one of these. So they said they was smoking in the house and burnt the grandma house out. So, you know, they trying to put the grandma out. And then they been put the mama out. So the mama been over here in these apartments squatting. So it's a sad situation, but get your kids. They say she 30 with 5 kids. Like, it's too many resources out here for you to be, you know, allowing your kids to live the way you live. They say the house nasty and everything. One of the ladies also said that she opened her house up to the kids over here if they need like ranch hot sauce, they hungry, whatever. Her husband mentor the kids. But she stopped letting them come because one of the daughters is disrespectful and she's 12 years old. And the mama just be out here drunk, high, popping pills, all type of stuff. So they really, you know, it's a sad situation because they've been squatting. 30 with 5 kids, it's resources out here. You need to just, shit. 30 years old with 5 kids, and they said the mama be outside drunk, high, popping pills. They even said that the mama, one of the little boys robbed the library lady. So how the video originally got out is because the girl that I was just walking with, she live over here, her kids go to this school. She said the little kids came to her house and told her husband, like, look at this video. And they had the lady phone, and they was trying to do something with, you know, trying to sell the lady phone, talking about something. I need me a car. He was like, I'm going to post a video and make y'all dumb ass go viral. So that's how the video got viral, because they thought they was being funny, but they went viral.
I don't care how you spin or how you slice it. More than likely, she wanted to do that shit. Okay, more than likely, they didn't like that kid. Okay, they had an issue with that kid, and that's why that ended up the way it did. I don't want to hear anyone sitting here trying to make excuses for it. It's absolutely disgusting, and I genuinely do not understand how anyone could think that what she did was okay and what any of those kids did was okay. Like, you cannot condone this behavior, because these are the type of kids that end up in jail. Okay, when people talk about school to prison pipeline, it's like, okay, so you think good kids are going to jail? Let's be for real, right? I've never done a video on the school to prison pipeline. I do feel like, yes, in some way they are preparing kids for a mundane life, a life of crime. You know, like, I've even had kids try to talk to me about it, like, oh, you guys are preparing us to go to jail. It's like, nigga, you stand on the corner every day before and after school, beating people up, selling whatever, and you gonna come talk to me about how we're preparing you for prison. No, you're preparing yourself for prison. No one can prepare your child for the school to prison pipeline if your kid is not doing things that warrant them going to prison. Point blank, period. That's just the fact of the matter. If you live in the hood, you got your kid in a shitty ass school system, you have them around shitty ass people, you're not involved, your family's not involved, the village is not involved. What exactly do you expect is going to happen to this kid? Like, I'm sick and tired of people blaming systems. Like, and I know this is a very, very big unpopular opinion, but at the same time, there's plenty of people that make it out the hood, that make it out of urban areas, that make it out of unsafe whatever areas because they choose to do good. They choose to do the right thing. It's very difficult to do the right thing as a child. However, it is honestly possible. You ain't see those kids throwing any blows with those kids that was beating them up. You saw they kept their hands to themselves. They was just trying to protect their mom. Same thing with the mom. You saw the mom didn't sit there and yeet all them kids. Most of us probably would have. You saw that. There's ways to do good even when bad is around you. That's a prime example right there. A lot of us probably wouldn't have that type of self-control and self-restraint. And that's what a lot of y'all need to be teaching your kids, if anything. Self-control and self-restraint. Everything don't gotta be violent. Everything don't gotta be retaliation. Everything don't gotta be, oh, well, like, she did this, she did that, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go beat them up. I'm gonna go shoot them or whatever. Like, it don't gotta be that. Unfortunately, a lot of these kids are growing up in an environment where that's what it is. Oh, she looked at me funny. Oh, I don't like her. Oh, he pissed me off. I'm gonna go fight him. Oh, I'm gonna shoot him. I'm gonna teach him a lesson. That's not how things need to be. And unfortunately, a lot of these kids are also being raised by parents where that's how they handle conflict. This is what they do on a daily. What do you expect to come from that? I'm not going to blame no pipelines and society or whatever for somebody that grows up in an environment that is like that. And then it's like, oh, well, the schools are preparing them for prison. No. Okay, their family is preparing them for prison. Okay, their actions are preparing them for prison. The fact that they keep doing things that they know is not correct is what is preparing them for prison. I don't want to hear none of that goofy shit. I genuinely don't. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed my TED Talk. I really hope that these kids are held accountable as well as their parents. This was unacceptable. It was honestly disgusting and it was hard to watch. Like, I really hope that a lot of y'all, especially if you're kids and you're watching this, y'all take something from this because it is not okay to put hands on people, especially in this type of climate because anything could happen to you. Okay, you from Chirac? Like, somebody gonna come after you, bro. Like, I don't see this ending well. That's all I gotta say. I hope this is just where it ends. But I personally don't see this ending well. You know, you got the parents coming out, the kids coming out saying all types of nonsense, trying to buy sympathy, trying to act like, you know, a lot of us are being hard on the kids or whatever. And it's like, no, you should have been hard on your kids so that your kids won't go outside running amok on the streets and beating up people's mamas and babies. Okay, point blank, period. With that being said, let me know down below. What do you guys think about this story? How did you feel when you first saw the clips? Did you see the whole thing? Did you not see the whole thing? What do you guys think is going to happen? Because personally, I don't have a good feeling about this. But with that being said, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, join the Patreon, and join the memberships. Thank you for always supporting me. And with that being said, I'm going to see y'all next time. Bye!